It's record store day, and I have about 5 titles on my list, and I went to 5 different record stores. I was going to get up early and go to Record Safari and wait in line like everybody else, but then I got up early, but I just couldn't get out. And so I went over to Amoeba Records about 9:15. I wasn't going to wait in the record store day line. They have a line for record store day, and people waited out all night, and then another line to go for people who just want to shop. And usually it's a bunch of guys looking for the new wall items. They were supposed to redo all their walls overnight. So first stop is that was one hell of a line, and I'm glad that I didn't wait there. I was second in line to go look at wall items. We had about an hour, so I took some photos trying to through the windows to see what's on the walls. They said they replaced everything. I don't think they replaced anything. Those are similar items that I saw last week and the week before. And they've said this before where they've redid all the walls, but they didn't. So I left Amoeba without buying anything. I ran into a few people I knew, and I looked at all the normal places, but there was just nothing that I wanted. And if I wanted record store day stuff, I'd have to go outside because they were still letting people in for record store day, and that was a very slow moving line. I left Amoeba, and then I went to Arroyo Records. He opened at noon, and he listed a variety of record store day titles. And so I messaged him and asked how many people were in line. He said about 20. So I drove over there. And by the time I got there, there was, I don't know, maybe 40 or 45. I waited there probably about 25 minutes, and I grabbed these. This was Back to the Grave Volume 9 comp, which I have like Volume 5 and Volume 6. So now I guess eventually I'm going to get them all. I think this came out in 2019. I don't know any of the band names here, but those other 2 volumes that I got were great. So I'm gonna pick this one up. I'm gonna pick all volumes of this. The next thing I got was a record store day. This was high on my list. It's the Eden's Children. This is the album that came out in 1968. I talk about this in another video. This is not an exclusive, but a record store day first. This is heavy psych, a lot of fuzz, not really pop psych. It's great. It's exactly the kind of psych that I like. So I'm happy I got this. They didn't have any more items on my record store day list, which that was the David Gilmour 12-inch with his daughter, the Nick Mason Echoes, which plays Inside Out. A friend of mine, at the end of the day, a friend of mine let me know that he got those because I never found those 2 items. Okay, and then the last thing that I got from Arroyo Records was Father Yod. This was On the Wall. This is psychedelic, experimental, really weird kind of stuff that I've been looking. I think this is the third original I have on this really cool label. I have not heard this. It's got some cracks here. I have not heard this yet. So it is a blind buy, but I'm happy to do it. Father Yod, it's Penetration, an Aquarium Sympathy. No. Penetration, an Aquarium Symphony. That is the name of the album. 1974, LA-based, kind of crazy guy. Look at the photo there. I left Arroyo Records, and probably a half a mile down the road is the Now Again pop-up. It's not a pop-up, it's Now Again, the reissue label. They have a storefront, but they say they're only open like for 5 hours once a month, and really it's their business offices where they do the reissue label. And today they're having 20% off everything. They had 2 record store items that were out in the United States, and they had them up there on the wall as well. So the first thing I got was Forge Your Own Chains. So this is heavy psychedelic ballads and dirges, 68 to 74. 2 LP. This has got, it's ballads. It's got Son of Gypsy from Damon, Top Drawer, really good, rare psych albums, tracks from these albums. D.R. Cooper, Sensational Saints. I mean, I've never even seen this before, so I'm actually very excited to jump into this. Also in their bins was Hunger's Strictly from Hunger. This is originally what year did this come out? I think 1968. They're from Portland, Oregon. They moved to LA. This is a reissue from 2018. Psych, hard, heavy psych. Really, really good album. And Now and Again put this out about 7 years ago, and happy to have it, especially with 20% off, so $35. Really, this is probably one of the coolest psych albums out of the Northwest, for sure. Goes for thousands of dollars. I'll probably never own an original. My second record store day, which is Chrissy Zebby Tempo and the Ngozi Family. This is my early entry into the Zamrock. I know this was on the record store day list, and they had another one. I don't know why I didn't get the other one. Again, I'm not familiar with the music too much, and I'm jumping into it, and everyone says to get this album, so I did. So that is my second and last record store day item I was able to find at the stores that I went. After Now and Again, I drove about 2.5 miles over Permanent Records. They always have record store day titles. Even though Lance is in Den Bosch, I didn't really know what they were doing. And when I got there, there was a band and a bunch of people in the record store. I quickly looked through the record store day. There was nothing that I wanted. And I looked through the bins, and There's a variety of things I wanted, but I wanted to wait till Lance got back and maybe I could try to swing a deal. So I left Permanent Records empty-handed. The last stop on my record store day journey was Record Safari. I should have been there at 6 in the morning and grabbed, they had a Mazzy Star, the first album that I should have gotten up for and grabbed, but I didn't. And I know their wall was totally taken apart, but when I got there, the wall was back. There was no big ticket items on their wall, but everything was 25% off. They didn't have any record store day items, but everything was 25% off. So I did find a few things. The Campervan Beethoven, this is their first album. This came out in '86, and I believe there's a record store day version of this. So it's $40, but 25% off 40. And this has got, apparently everyone's loving the translucent vinyl. 1984, Campervan Beethoven's first U.S. pressing. It is one of the Campervan Beethovens that I didn't own, so that was great to find on the wall. Next one was there for a while, but Maureen Tucker's Playin' Possum. This is from 1982. She was the drummer in the Velvet Underground. She has a couple solo albums, and this is one of them. This is U.S. She does covers, Bo Diddley, Heroin, Slippin' and Slidin', I'll Be Your Baby, Louie Louie, all these are covers. Actually, she has one original song. It's Mo Tucker, produced by Mo Tucker in Phoenix. It's been on my list for a while, and I've just never picked it up until today. The last record I got from Record Store Day is The Remains. This is a reissue, and it's on red vinyl. This is a reissue of their original album that came out in, '66. These are all stereo track versions of this. I don't have a reissue of the Remains album, so I'm glad I have this, because this is, one of these days I will get the original. That is The Remains. Those were my albums. I did have a friend in Florida pick up a Pink Floyd Piper at the Gates of Dawn US mono that was on their wall, and then also a Bob Dylan, I'm forgetting which Bob Dylan, I think it was this second or the third album, promo on the wall. So I have that coming, as well as someone picked me up the David Gilmour and his daughter Romany 12-inch, and Nick Mason doing Echoes, those two Record Store Day titles. I should have those in a few days. But that's it. That is my Record Store Day 2025. Did you get any of these? Let me know in the comments what you picked up, and I'll see you in the next video.